Hollywood is facing its worst recession in 50 years due to the growing content creator industry. Okay, I made that up, but entertainment is very different nowadays. So in this video, I'm giving 3 popular movies a much needed update by turning them into YouTube clickbait. First up is a movie we all know and love, Up. In it, Carl flies to this place called Paradise Falls to fulfill his late wife's dream. The catch? He flew there by strapping a load of balloons to his house and accidentally brought along a Boy Scout for the ride.
Hi, Mr. Fredrickson.
My idea for this video is to have a contrast between the left and right side to show the difficult journey. It's gonna turn out great. To help me, I put a line down the center and cut out Carl to be happy on one side and grumpy on the other. I'll make sure to line up his face nicely, and I think I'll remove this suit on the left and fill it in with the one from the right. Next, his hair doesn't flow so well here, so I'm gonna use Liquify to fix that. And that looks better. To keep the contrast going, I'm going to show clear blue skies on the left and the terrible storm they encounter on the right. Obviously we need the house, but when I scale it up, it looks a bit blurry, so I'm going to use an image enhancer, which, damn, that really makes a difference. And you can see the vision for this thumbnail coming together. Obviously the house needs balloons, and I found this image that I'm going to enhance, cut out, and then put in the background. Also, I think there being more balloons on the left side works well, because it looks like some were popped in a storm in the right. Next, I'm going to add some day 1 verse 100 text, and things are looking pretty good. Now for a whole lot of minor changes to perfect the thumbnail, including touching up the lighting on the right side from the balloons to the face, and worst of all, the house. This part isn't easy because of the clear difference between light and dark, but after spending quite a while on it, it looks decent. Not perfect, but also not something you're gonna see in the 5 seconds you look at the thumbnail for. Lastly, I darkened his suit, made his eyes brighter on both sides because this is a YouTube thumbnail, and changed the text to say day 7 instead. To perfect the colors, I'll use a dodge and burn as well as a camera raw filter, and the thumbnail's complete. I think it turned out great. I could definitely see it on YouTube, as well as the next thumbnail, where we're turning the iconic Jurassic Park into some juicy clickbait. In it, a theme park with live dinosaurs turns deadly when they escape, forcing visitors to fight for their survival. For this thumbnail, we're gonna reference this scene where the T-Rex sees people hiding in their cars and treats it like a starving person in the desert finding a double cheeseburger meal. I think a good clickbait title for this would be Extreme Hide and Seek Dinosaur Edition. To get started with that, I found an image of a road and cut out the gaps so we can change the background to something more fitting. In the movie, the scene takes place at night, but I'm gonna make the thumbnail take place in the daytime because it means we'll have brighter colors. I'm gonna use a blend if slider to remove the white sky from this background and replace it with a bright blue one. Now for the T-Rex. I found the perfect picture of one, and I'm gonna use the blend if slider again, this time to remove the black pixels. I found another picture that's just perfect, this time for the car. To fit the hide and seek theme, I found this image of a guy who looks like he's hiding and is also scared of something. I think I can make it work by placing him in front of the car and then turning him into the main character, Dr. Alan Grant. We'll start with his head, then use this guy's eyes so he's looking at the dinosaur, then get distracted and play games. Then cut out a denim shirt and use a puppet warp to fit it to his body. Next, I'm going to use a gradient map to change his pants to the ones he wears in the movie, but these eyes just aren't doing it for me, so I'm going to change them back to normal. It wouldn't be a clickbait thumbnail without a big red arrow, so let's add that in, and now it's time for the lighting. Luckily, there's actually not that much that needs doing. First, I'll cast a shadow from the T-Rex, and make sure to make it vertical when it hits the wall. After that, the car needs a shadow, as well as the guy, and it's looking good, but I feel like the dinosaur is just a bit out of place. To fix that, I'm gonna add some cracks in the road. First, I'll draw jagged lines extending from his feet with a brush, and I think I'm gonna add quite a few of those. Then I'll use a bevel and emboss to put highlights in the areas the sun would hit, and shadows in the areas it wouldn't. After that, I used the blend mode to overlay them on the ground, and that's pretty convincing. For a bit more realism, I added in some cracks with a blend mode and used the mask to fade the edges away. Also, I made it look like this tire landed in the crack and got punctured. To add more drama to the scene, I'm going to bring in some skid marks, making sure to fade the edges away so they get stronger as the car brakes. To finish up, I'll add some final changes like blurring the background and adding a camera raw filter to perfect the colors. And there it is. I think it came out pretty well, especially considering it wasn't that time consuming. Unlike the next one, where we're clickbaiting everyone's favorite movie, Shrek.
Somebody once told me
I'm gonna title this one, We Saved a Princess, because that's what Shrek grudgingly sets off to do with Donkey. In specific, rescuing her from a dragon. That's definitely going in the thumbnail. Now, I found this picture of Shrek that I want to use, but he needs a shocked YouTube thumbnail face. This should work. By the way, my idea for this thumbnail is to have him and Donkey running away from the dragon with Princess Fiona in Shrek's arms. Okay, I need a picture of Shrek's hands for that, and there's this scene in the first movie where Fiona flattens a bunch of guys in the forest, and Shrek and Donkey are like,
I beg your pardon?
These are the hands we're gonna use. If I just cut them out from Donkey and rotate them, that looks good. Whilst I'm making this, we're almost at 10k subs. How cool is that? We'll check back in with that later. Now for the part I've been dreading, putting Fiona in Shrek's arms. There's not a load of great full body shots available, so this is what we're working with, and there's a lot that needs doing. To start with, I'm gonna remove her feet for now, and then use Liquify to blend her dress in a more natural way. We'll drag it down a bit more here and pull it up in these parts because that's where Shrek's hands are going to be holding her, and yeah, that works. Now, her head obviously doesn't look natural like this, so that's another thing we need to change. I'm going to use this frame from the movie instead, and then use Liquify to make her hair fall naturally, as well as tuck her arm behind Shrek like she's holding on. Now for the background. When Shrek rescues Fiona, he's escaping the castle, with the dragon in hot pursuit. I found this frame of the castle interior that should work well, and I'm going to move her arm around to hang down, as well as bring in our noble steed, Donkey. He doesn't look shocked enough though, so I'll swap his head out and add in some shadows to make it look normal. I also put some motion blur on him because he's running away. Come on. Hey, that's crazy. What? Let's go. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you. Back to the thumbnail, I found this fire picture of the dragon and I'm gonna tuck it in the background. Next, I'm gonna continue the flame with this image I found. To match it up better, I'm gonna apply some filters, throw on a blur, and change the colors slightly. It's coming together. Now for the shading. To start with, I'm going to paint in some bright orange light being cast by the flame on the walls in the background. Next, to make my job easier, I'm going to flip Shrek so that the shadow on his face is in the correct place. Then I added in some more lighting and shadows, and removed Donkey. There's just too much going on in the thumbnail. I guess that means we have to change the title too. That's better. Okay, I think it'll look more realistic and also just kinda cool if Shrek has cuts in his shirt from the rescue mission. I'll do that in a few different places, and to make them fit in, you guessed it, lighting, shadows, lighting, shadows. And after many hours, the shading is complete. Here's a before and after. It's finally done. Wait. His hands are the wrong way around. Here's a recap of all the thumbnails we made, as well as another one I made for the thumbnail of this video. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and thank you for 10k.